Hey guys, and welcome to the third Believe Something Better Bible review. I can see your face Okay guys, so this is a little bit older Bible, but it's one that I got that I've really liked. And I believe that Holman has continued to make these, just not in the HCSB. I could be wrong on that. If they do, there will be a link in the description. But what this is the Ultrathin reference edition. So this isn't a large print or anything like that, but it is ultra thin, and I mean, you can just see it's really thin actually. And so this is the fake leather. This is the fake, I believe they call it leather touch. Holman calls theirs leather touch. Crossways calls theirs true tone. I believe Zondervan calls theirs new tone, or other things like that, or duotone, different things. So this is the leather touch, and it's rather easy to move around. It's not super, I mean, it bends, but it's not like it's super. It only really bends one way. I mean, look at that, it won't really bend the other way. But I mean, it feels good to the hand. There is a ribbon, but I have it tucked in because I'm typically storing this Bible right now. So I'm going to go over some things that I like and some things that I don't. So the translation, HCSB, it's a good translation. It's a decent translation. The more that I've used it, the more I like it. Still not going to be, I'm not switching from the ESV anytime soon, but this is a great translation. You can still read it online. It's still available. There are still some available, though Holman is not making any new HCSBs. Everything now is, they've dropped the H, and it's the CSB, which is a newer translation. It's an update. There's been some changes that have been made to it. This isn't what this video is about, but let's go through the HCSB. This is the ultra thin reference. So they have this fancy presentation page which has my name on it. There's a certificate of marriage and holy matrimony, births. It has all the family matter up front, including this one, which I thought was really cool. Occasions to remember. And death. You have your page, your title page, followed by this is the second edition of the Holman, I believe, 2009 update, where they removed some Yahwehs. I believe that's what happened. They used less Yahwehs in this one than the other one, than the earlier one. One of the things that I really like is this bullet notes right here. So when you're reading, if there's a word that you come to that you don't really understand or something, in the back of the Bible is essentially a glossary where you can look up that name or that term, and that's what it means. So you notice that it's not staying open. Introductory material. Let's get a little bit farther. So this is just a reference Bible. Old Testament. I'm going to show you Genesis' first page, but we're not going to stick around there, just so you can see kind of what they're working with. You have Genesis, and then you have this double column format with the footnotes. But we're going to skip into the Bible, so it will lay open flat for me. And so now where are we? We're in Chronicles. Let's get to where we're a little bit more paragraphed here. Second Chronicles, wow. There we are. We can see the text really well. So this is Chronicles. So here's one of the things that I found interesting at first, and then it just became an annoyance, and that's this right here. So this is the top of the page. You see something missing in the top of the page? In your normal Bible, right here at the top of the page, you'd have that right there. And I mean, how many Bibles do we buy that were trained? I mean, I'm not going to get them out right now, but I've looked through Bible after Bible after Bible, and all of this material is up there. Sometimes the page numbers are down at the bottom, sometimes they're up at the top. Depends on the Bible publisher and who laid it out. But this this reference is standard to be at the top. And I like I said, I found it interesting at first, but then after trying to use this, it just became tedious because you get in this habit. Oh, I'm searching for a passage. And you start looking up at the top here. Oh wait, that's right. Let's search for the passage. So it just gets tedious. This is one of the interesting things that they do a little bit, is these indentations. They make things in this kind of poetic format. They'll do it in the New Testament too, where they'll just take it and they'll kind of offset it to poetry. This is a family genealogy, but I'll show you one where they do it. They explain it. One of the things that I really am not a super huge fan of in my Bible, in any book, being a author wannabe, and I'm publishing stuff from my from my computer and stuff. I've been learning a lot about typefaces. Is this font? It's a sans serif font. Sans serif fonts, according to traditional mentality, should never be on a page used like this, because sans serif fonts, there's different letters that are hard to pick out. So let's come down over here. So that's will. That's W-I-L-L. I don't want to get the shadow on it. W-I-L-L right there. So the L-L, now if it was ill, if it was I-L-L, it would just look like 3 I's or 3 L's with a capital I and different things like that. So you can see one of those bullet notes that I was talking about before. So I'll show you that in a moment. We can get to the back where they have that. Now, one of the sad things is for the CSB, they remove these bullet notes, which I actually really think that that's a cool idea, at least for like maybe a New Believer's Bible or something. But the paper, the paper is nice. Not a super huge amount of ghosting on there. Over here where it's kind of offset, you can see more ghosting up the side. But I can tell you that looking at it on the screen, I can see more versus looking at it in real life. But yeah, the text is a decent size. It's easy to read. I can read it right from here, from where I'm sitting. The footnotes, they get a little small, but they're still a decent size. They're not too bad. I like that they bold this right here, so that way you can easily pick up where you're looking for. Let's see here. So that's poetry, because that is Ecclesiastes. I have to look at the bottom. I can remember that. Let's get into the New Testament here so we can see something. Here we go, New Testament. So this is a red letter edition, as you can see. Hey, there's the end of my ribbon. And this is really cool too. So this probably isn't the best example, but if you can see that this is a bold red versus this red, and so all references to the Old Testament, all quotations from the Old Testament, are set out in bold text in the HCSB, and they continued that in the CSB. That's not just something that's just for the HCSB. So here, now you can see it in black. It says, "And he was counted among outlaws," and that is a bold text, and that's a quotation. And so then here we'll tell you where it's quoted from. I'm looking for that. Yeah, see this, how this is set out like poetry here and here, as if it's being quoted from the Old Testament or something along those lines, when it's not. It's not poetry, it's not being quoted from the Old Testament, but it makes it look that way. This is Luke chapter 6. See, references on top as they should be. Sorry guys. Come on. Oh, one past it. I'm still trying to find some of the stuff in this thing. It's a lot thinner than I'm used to. Okay, Luke chapter 6. So this is a black letter edition, so it's going to be a little bit harder. So that's verses 20. So these are the Beatitudes. 20, 21, 22. So in the ESV, we have, where are we? 20, 21, and 22. No poetry there. And they'll do it in Paul's writings too. And it's not something that's, it's not like it's distracting or something. It's not like it's bad or something. Don't get me wrong. It's just interesting. It catches the eye. It makes something, it makes it interesting. There's one other thing that I was wanting to point out is, so they fall closer to like the NASB. So if you pick up an NASB, it has a lot of the traditional readings out of the Textus Receptus left in the text, whereas like the ESV, they removed them and they put them in a footnote. And so this one has it here, and then at the end there will be a footnote right there stating that. So 5, 3, and 4. Other manuscripts omit bracketed text, and so they include it in, whereas ESV leaves it out. And so I actually kind of like that. So here we have a footnote at the end of verse 3 that comes down here, and where we still have the text here. Don't get me wrong, it's still there. It's just that having it in the text would make a lot of sense, because it's weird when it goes verse 3, verse 5. It's just a little weird. And they do that very similar to the King James, to the NASB, excuse me. So we can see more quotations here in the bold, which is really kind of nice. Then they bold it. We're in Acts. Okay, here we are, 16. So you see how this is all indented and is set out like poetry? See, that's something that's interesting. It's interesting and really kind of special. And it doesn't detract from your reading. I think the font detracts from my reading more than that. That's actually something that I think encourages, because it grasps you and makes you think about it more. And so, keep on going. The paper is actually really nice, actually. It's rather smooth to the touch. It feels good. It's just those references being on the bottom. Here's the end of Revelation. So here's the HCSB bullet notes. And so you'll notice that, so like Abaddon, a Hebrew word for either the grave or the realm of the dead. And so it's just a really interesting little like glossary that they have back here, which is really, really nice. And so the one that we saw was next to Zion, so then you just flip to Zion, originally a term for the fortified section of Jerusalem, and then by extension used for the temple and the city of Jerusalem, both in the present time and the future. So it's really a great little resource that they have in the back here. So yeah, all in all, this is a great Bible. The font isn't something that I would choose to have, but this is a great Bible. I would recommend it. The CSB, as far as that goes, there's been some changes to the translation, so I would make sure that you figure that out, what you want. This is a CSB. This is just their outreach Bible, so it doesn't have any of the CSB's footnotes that the CSB has, and it put the references at the top. So I don't know if they're doing that for every CSB, and this is really hard to open with that glued spine. They're doing that with every CSB or just this one. But yeah, so this is so if you like the HCSB, definitely go for this if you can find it. If you like the CSB, this is a great, it's not too big for the hand, it's easy to carry with you, it's not too heavy, and it's going to be a great addition to you being able to go places. And for now, until they come out with something like, say, a CSB Pit Minion or a CSB Skylar Quintel or something like that, or a personal size Quintel, these thin lines are great. Holman does a better job I would recommend this over Zondervan's thin line. I just recently bought a Zondervan thin line, and I was not too impressed. Though I did buy it in bonded leather. This one is not for review, because actually all that's in here is a cover. But yeah, I was not impressed with theirs as much as I was impressed by Holman's. Holman's thin, ultra thin reference Bible is actually a really great Bible. Text aside, font aside, if you like to look at that, if you want to see that font a little bit closer here, I'll get this a little bit closer. I'm just, again, trying not to get it. You see how it's like, turn your eyes away from me. Flock. So F-L-O-C-K. See how that L is just a straight line in both Gilead and flock? Right there. And flock right there. And like. And so then if I could find an I can know where I can find an I. Let's look at the traditional. I can find several I's right here in Exodus chapter 3. 3. See, and the I is just a straight line too. See that? Here. Here. But I do like this. I like that they have peppered the word Yahweh throughout the Bible. I'm not so sure about it. It kind of throws you for a loop the first time that you're doing it. I mean, like, you can look up the Web Bible, the World English Bible online, and they translate fairly consistently all the way through the Bible the word Yahweh, and it's different. It makes it stilted to read, I think. Yeah, you can see more of this poetry here. So, I mean, all in all, great Bible. This is weird. It should be up here. But you notice that they took away some of the margin up there. See how small that margin is? In order to move everything down here, and they kept a little bit less margin between this number down here and that corner up there. But at the same time, yeah, I don't know. I think that they're probably going to change that for the newer ones. I could be wrong. I'll have to look it up and see what the HCSB Ultrathin reference Bibles are doing. So, great Bible. I highly recommend it if you like the HCSB or the CSB. Look into getting one of these. Even if you are just looking into, these are great. I mean, into getting an HCSB or CSB, these are great value. I mean, I got this one. It's the fake leather, so it was under $20. It's something I can throw in a bag. I'm not going to worry about goatskin leather coming apart on me, or I shouldn't say coming apart, getting cut by something or scratched by something. Where this is a great Bible. So I would highly recommend that if you guys are looking for a ultra thin reference Bible, go with this one. And I've heard, I can't say this personally, but I've heard that their large print ultra thin Bibles are really good too. So highly recommend them. So highly recommend it. And if you guys are looking for, I'm going to try and make sure that there's a link for it down in the show notes. Make sure that you guys can get yourself a copy of it, even if it's not this one, if it's the CSB. The CSB is a great translation as well. Definitely look at that. And so if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe down below. And until next time, I pray we've helped you to believe in something better.